Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So let's just jump right in, because today we are tackling one of the absolute biggest cultural moments of the year. I'm talking about the brand new trailer for Namit Malhotra's Ramayana. Now, look, whenever you adapt what the filmmakers are literally calling the greatest story of all mankind, the stakes are going to be astronomically high. But here's the thing. This trailer hasn't just sparked excitement. It has ignited a massive, fiercely passionate debate all across the internet. And if there's one thing the internet loves even more than a giant blockbuster, it's passionately arguing about a giant blockbuster. So we're going to look directly at the source material, the trailer itself, plus the immediate media reactions to figure out exactly why audiences are so incredibly divided right now.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the epic's grand return, and then look at A Tale of Two Paths. After that, we're diving straight into the real-world clashes with the internet's divided verdict, tackling the big critical debate of spectacle versus missing emotion, and finally wrapping up with how this new era begins. All right, let's get into it.
Starting things off with Section 1, the epic's grand return. What's really fascinating to me is how this trailer actually chooses to open. We don't get introduced to our hero first, no. We are immediately introduced to the threat. The line goes, "The heavens, the earth, and the netherworld shall have one ultimate ruler, Ravana." Boom. That bombastic opening dialogue instantly sets up these massive cosmic stakes. It's telling us right away that this isn't just some local terrestrial conflict. We're talking about a battle for the universe itself. The filmmakers are clearly setting expectations for a mythic epic on a truly massive scale. And obviously, to pull off cosmic stakes like that, you need a seriously heavy-hitting team behind the scenes. And they absolutely have one. We've got Nishish Tiwari directing, a guy well known for massive blockbuster success. It's produced by Namit Malhotra, who brings a huge visual effects pedigree to the table. And then, wow, that musical collaboration. A.R. Rahman and Hans Zimmer. Just think about that for a second. Bringing a true Indian musical legend together with Hollywood's most iconic modern composer, that is a huge statement of intent. It really explains exactly why audience expectations for this project are just sky high. They aren't just promising a movie, they're promising a global cinematic event.
And you can see exactly how the filmmakers are positioning this by looking at a specific text card right near the end of the trailer. It flashes in big letters, "Our Truth, Our History." They're making it very clear they aren't just trying to sell a standard popcorn flick. By explicitly claiming the Ramayana as history and truth, they're elevating this whole project to a monumental cultural event. And this framing? It is absolutely crucial. It's a huge reason why audiences are debating the trailer so passionately, literally analyzing every single frame. Because let's face it, when you claim to represent a culture's truth, the level of scrutiny you face is going to be intense.
Okay, let's move right along to Section 2, A Tale of Two Paths, and see how all of this builds into the trailer's core thematic conflict.
So in total, stark contrast to that loud, bombastic introduction of Ravana, we meet Ram through this lens of profound stoicism. He says, "As a son, it is my duty to honor my father's word. For you, 14 years of exile." It's incredibly grounded. The trailer explicitly points out that he would gladly give his life for prosperity. And this right here establishes the emotional baseline for our hero. He is a man bound by duty, by honor, and by his divine mission as Lord Vishnu's avatar. He's ready to accept his fate, whatever it might actually be.
The really crucial point here is how the trailer meticulously pits these two opposing forces against each other. On one side, we have Ravana, who is entirely ruled by revenge. The trailer shows us the humiliation of his sister, Surpanakha, which leads directly to Ravana promising an agonizing, humiliating death for Ram. And then, contrasted directly against that, we have Rama, who is born to protect. It's your classic, literal dichotomy, right? Light versus dark, duty versus vengeance, just perfectly laid out for the viewer.
But then, that inevitable collision course reaches an absolute boiling point with this one incredible vow. Ram says, "If Ravana is the ruler of all three realms, then all three worlds shall witness his death. I will bring back my Sita." The energy of the entire trailer completely shifts right at this moment. We see Ram transform from this stoic, dutiful son who just accepted exile into a fierce protector, making a literal universe-shaking promise. I mean, it is the absolute perfect hook for an epic action movie.
Now, as perfectly crafted as a trailer might be on paper, the true test is always what happens when it makes contact with the audience. And that brings us to Section 3, the internet's divided verdict.
What is so fascinating about this whole situation is how the on-screen clash of Rama versus Ravana is actually perfectly mirroring an off-screen clash that is dominating the internet right now. I'm talking about the real-world battle between the fan bases of Ranbir Kapoor and Yash. The intensity of the debate we're seeing online isn't even just about the ancient text itself, it's heavily focused on modern celebrity and casting allegiances.
To really see how this is playing out in the media, just look at this recent headline from NDTV. It reads, Ranbir Kapoor versus Yash. This is where epic begins internet on Ramayana trailer. Fans of both these massive superstars are just fiercely debating the casting choices. They're totally flooding comment sections and facing off online. Because, heaven forbid two huge actors share a screen without their respective fan armies going to total war in the comments. But seriously, jokes aside, when you cast two gigantic stars who both have massive, hyper-dedicated followings in roles that are naturally opposed to one another, you essentially guarantee a polarized, highly engaged internet debate. It just goes to prove that the trailer has undeniably succeeded in igniting a massive conversation.
But the debate goes way deeper than just arguing over who is playing who. Let's move to Section 4, Spectacle versus Missing Emotion, where we'll dive into the specific critical reactions surrounding the trailer's actual cinematic execution.
So while the fans are busy arguing over the actors, the critics are busy debating the actual substance of the film. Take a look at this highly critical headline excerpt from the Hindustan Times. They wrote that the filmmakers bring spectacle aura, but no emotions. Now that is a profound critique, and it really gets to the absolute heart of why audiences are debating this trailer so much. It begs the big question, is a grand visual presentation actually enough if the audience doesn't feel the human heartbeat of the story?
This perfectly encapsulates the main divide the critics are pointing out. On one hand, there is absolutely no denying that the trailer delivers incredible spectacle. I mean, the massive world building, that booming Hans Zimmer score, it looks undeniably expensive and incredibly vast. But, as the Hindustan Times points out, there's this underlying risk that the emotional core, those quiet, powerful moments of duty and love embodied by characters like Sai Pallavi's Sita, might just get completely swallowed up by all that vast CGI. So the core of the debate is essentially asking, did the filmmakers focus so much on creating a spectacular universe that they forgot to ground the human characters actually living inside it?
Which brings us to our final section today, Section 5, The New Era Begins.
Look, regardless of the fierce online debates over casting, and regardless of the critical divides over spectacle versus emotion, this final promise from the trailer remains absolute. The era of Ram begins. The sheer volume of conversation happening right now, the way people are literally breaking down every single frame, all these warring headlines, it all proves that a massive cinematic event has indeed been set in motion. Whether you absolutely love the trailer or you're heavily critiquing it, the reality is that the entire internet is talking about it. And that means the filmmakers have truly captured the world's attention.
So I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative question, heavily inspired by that Hindustan Times review. When this movie finally hits theaters, will it ultimately deliver that missing emotion that the critics are desperately searching for, or will it rely entirely on its grand, universe-building spectacle to win over the audience? It's the ultimate question, and honestly, it's the one that will likely define the entire success of this adaptation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep a very close eye on how this fascinating debate continues to unfold.